Hi, good day. This video is the first video in a series of videos to help you beat the devil in his own world. Alright? For you to know his kingdom. Alright? Now, let me give you a paradox. Now, what is a paradox? A paradox is a statement that, when uttered, seems illogical and impractical, and it seems false, highly false, but when actually investigated, it actually turns out to be true, actually turns out to be real. Now, here is the paradox of life. The Lord gave the world over to Lucifer and his demons and his angels, his fallen angels, alright, because they are all not in hell, because hell comes after the final judgment. The Bible mentions that the angels are reserved in chains till the final judgment, but not all the angels are there, because there was one dude that had a legion of demons in him, and there were many people that had demons in them. A demon is an evil spirit is a fallen angel, and they are the one-third of the angels. So, paradox of life. The Lord gave the world over to Lucifer and his angels. Right? They sought to have a sinful world and to live with mankind until their damnation. Right? They've replaced the soul of mankind, the mind, will, and emotions, and they control you like a puppet. And it's not just with regards to sin only, but every single avenue of your life. Right? They did this. They are you. They act for you. They live through you. They control you. It's like a form. The best way to describe it is mind control. They decide what you think, how you feel, why, and etc. etc. And then they interact with you. They got you, right? They, when Adam and Eve were made, and then there were a whole bunch of other people, and Cain went and dwelt among them, and he built a city. Right? The Bible mentions the wheat and the tares. Right? Tares are those other people, the fallen angels who are playing pretend, masquerading as people. Wheat are the children of God. Alright? So the tares would keep on making children, reproducing, right? In hopes of getting a child of God to have a life with them. Right? And they dictate, or how to put this? This is the best way to put this. They have you in families, they have you as their lovers, they have you as their employees in the world. And they live a life with you full of sin. But you don't perceive the depths of sin. Right? You don't see it, you just see it as a wrongful act. But you don't see just how perverse and how wicked it is, to have sin done to you or to be involved with sin. Right? They did all this, they replace you. Right? They live with you. And they literally force you to see the color red as yellow, while they interact with you knowing that they're making you see the color red as yellow, but while they themselves don't see it as yellow, but they see it as red. So you're living with them, interacting with them based on seeing this color red as yellow, while they live with you and they interact with you knowing that it's supposed to be red. Right? They have taken everything away from you. Your personality, your looks, your soul, as I mentioned before, it contains all these things. They built you a false world, the vibe in which the world gives off. They gave you a false family, false people involved with your life, while you're just dealing with them. It doesn't change the people in whom you interact with, even though their physical appearance changes. You're dealing with the same fallen angels, right? And they're having a blast of a time down here, quote unquote blast of a time, with their little science project, right? This is why you see all these things with reincarnation. To be reincarnated, to be someone else. It's based off of actuality. The meat puppet dies, and they just use another body, and it continues and it continues and it continues. That's why Jesus was like, those who have success in this life, you have received your reward. You have received it. And this is why that dude was like, Lord, let me go bury my father. And he's like, let the dead bury their own dead. Right? And this is why he was saying that brother will put brother to death, and a father will put his son to death, and a man's enemies will be those of his own household, and children will raise up against parents and cause them to be put to death. This is because there comes a time when you know enough of the world, and they just have to get rid of you. And that's why these things happen. Because it happened to me. Alright? And people just start to lie about you, about who you are. People that were all friendly with you and were all good on good terms with you, they just change in the blink of an eye, and they're lying about you blatantly, and making up all sorts of stuff about you. And this is why Jesus said, "Blessed are you when they revile you, exclude you, and speak about you falsely for my name's sake. For great is your reward in heaven. For so they did to the prophets who were before you." Right? A prophet is anyone that has a relationship with God, right, and shares information to people about God. But these days, calling yourself a prophet is pretty much shooting yourself in the foot or the head, because there are a whole bunch of false prophets, right? And they speak with the prophet tone. So the devil puts people out of business. He's like, there's no such thing as a prophet these days. A prophet is anyone who believes in Jesus, right, and spreads the word, right? They also prophesy stuff based off of the fact that, they're a prophet, right? So if you prophesy anything and it comes true, you're a prophet. The thing is, the Lord tells you stuff that eventually comes true. And the Bible says, Jesus said, "He who has my commandments and keeps them, it is he who loves me. And he who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and manifest myself to them." And he does so much beautiful, wonderful stuff and tells you so much things, and it comes true. But you're just all by yourself, because this world is just full of tares, and you're like the only wheat, right? And he tells you stuff and it comes true, so you're all there by yourself. I had to explain all that to you because the devil is hunting all of God's people, so to speak, right? But you have what it takes because you're here, alright? So welcome to the false world in which you're living. This is your guide to kicking the devil's ass in the world, right? To kick his butt really badly. To kick his butt so hard you kick him in the ball sack and you wreck him. This is what I want to create for God's children, for them to see him in the world and not lose all his devices. So a recap. Paradox of life. Fallen angels control you and they interact with you. They act for you, through you, as you. This is not solely with regards to sin, but with every single avenue of your life. You sitting down in a seat or standing, listening to what it is I am saying, the feeling of you standing there looking around in the room in which you are, that is the strong man looking around in the room for you. Right? They have always controlled you. The strong man is the one that controls you. Literally. This is why Jesus said you first need to bind the strong man. Alright, now let me give you a Bible verse that shows this. Exchange this with war. For the flesh wars against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Throughout your whole life, they have always been doing stuff for you. Alright? If you have never received deliverance, you're like, oh boy, I never had a single thought that came from me. I never spoke a single word that came from me. I never did a single thing at all that came from me. I never lived. And you get to see this is why the Lord died for us and gives us eternal life when we turn away from sin. And this is why the angels are damned in their sin. It's because we have never been doing anything at all. And you can hear me speaking with an accent, but it's not me speaking with the accent. Alright? It's a demon. They like to give people who speak, who teach Bible this pastoral accent, right? So they speak a certain way. Right? Demons can alter your voice. Right? I've only ever heard my voice once or maybe twice. Once was when I fully heard it. The Lord allowed me to fully hear it. Right? And it was wild to know that I could sound so much like a giga child is the best way to put it. Right? 2 is when he was winding up my voice to sound like it's supposed to sound, but he stopped. And it was a reminder for me to remember what my voice sounded like, because the devil comes and the devil makes you forget. Alright? So yeah, the flesh wars against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. Paradox of life, the last minute. Again, the Lord gave the world over to Lucifer and his angels. The best way for them to make use of their time before damnation, when they had mankind in their hands to do whatever it is they wanted to do, was to delete the person in the body, to replace the individual, to give them a false sense of a personal will while they control them, and to interact with them, to live with them, right? As they own the world. It's a science project, so to speak, of wickedness and maliciousness, right? But they do not get to enjoy it because they are so tormented for it, for what it is they are doing, because the Lord has revealed it to many people and they have prayed, right? And the Lord also torments them for what it is they are doing. This is why it said that He gave the world over in hope that we will make it worse for them in the end. This is why He says when a spirit goes out of a man and he finds no rest, he walks in dry places, right? They are severely, utterly tormented for what it is they are doing. So, if you were a girl and you were having sex with some dude and he had his penis in your mouth, right? It was a demon controlling you, filling you up in ecstasy, filling you up with lust, while he dominated you, right? Until his time was to come, right? If you were a dude having all the sex with a girl, a demon is making you stutter. It's the same procedure, same way around, right? Do you know how Lot felt when he was in Sodom and Gomorrah? And all those people who do all sorts of sexual perversions, it grieved him. It really grieved him, right? Like really? Do you know what all those sex is? It's degenerate. It's disrespectful. It's defiling. It's derogatory, right? It's very, when you could see it for yourself, all you see is someone being utterly dominated by the other individual. That's all that you see, right? They make you see the color red as yellow, and they interact with you, knowing that it's red. And this is the world in which they made. This is the world in which you're living. Family members being difficult, it's them just plain messing with you. People in your life being difficult, it's just them just messing with you. And it's not different angels in whom you meet over and over. You know, all the different people in your life, they look different. It's the same angels that's using different bodies, right? In this world, there's either a wheat or a tare, and that's it. But the devil has us, and he separates us. And when you run into a wheat, right, it's so remarkable because you get a feeling of the person is alive, alright? You feel it. This person is a real person. I've only ever met someone, a wheat, like once when they were not fully controlled by the devil, and I felt it. You feel that this person, this individual is alive, is a real person, right? You just feel it. I've met maybe like 3 other wheat, right? But they were in control of the devil and his puppet act, alright? The Lord, He dictates how far He can go with His little puppet act, and this is why it says He deceives the whole world. And he builds you a life. He builds you a life with decisions full of understanding. Why you did this, why you did that, why you were involved with this person, and all this and all that. But behind the scenes, He has always been controlling you and just giving you a false sense of a personal will. This is what it means by He deceives the whole world. This is a percentage of that statement. There's more to it, but that's pretty much it, to a certain degree. Right? So yeah, paradox of life. Get ready for some more news.